Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Hux and I'm Future Vision. This is episode 2. I'm here with our co-host, Shoni Katoa. Shoni Katoa has played a big part in the MMT movement, and he's played a couple of 70, 80 games in the NRL. It's just good just to have him alongside me to co-host our special guest. This podcast is more like just to talk about the upbringing of our future athletes that are on their way to the main stage. Today, I'd like to introduce our special guest. She's probably the next biggest thing coming out of Ipswich. Last time I heard someone say she's the queen of Ipswich.
Nice. Look out.
She is raw talent, this girl, and I've been watching her journey just throughout school. And the crazy thing about it, she's actually a nice person in person when you talk to her. So welcome, Shalom Sauaso. And with her, we got her mom, Terry. How are you guys?
Good. Thank you for having us.
Yeah. Shalom, are you able just to give us a rundown on where you're from and your upbringing? Just an introduction, man.
Oh, well, I'm just a casual girl from Ipswich, based in Springfield. Yeah. I don't know.
Half tongue?
No. Full someone, guys. Full someone.
I swear I heard someone say you're half tonguing. Yourself, Terry?
Yeah, Terry, I have 3 beautiful kids. Shalom is my only girl and she's the middle child. So I've got a 21-year-old boy, then Shalom 17, and then TJ is 16.
Oh, the favourite one then, eh? The only girl.
Are you originally from Ipswich? Like, did you come, are you from New Zealand or?
Yes, I was raised in Samoa, then moved to New Zealand, and we moved here 2003. So I had my eldest back in New Zealand, and Shalom and TJ were born in Ipswich.
Does that make you Australian resident or still?
Yeah, she is.
Oh, nice.
So you won't play for Samoa, you play for Australia, eh?
Nice.
Nah, sweet. We'll just a couple of questions I just want to ask Shalom about. Can you give us a rundown on what it's like with what a normal week, take us through what a normal week to you as a behind the scenes at home when you're not playing footy,
Well, normal week, if I'm not playing footy, I'm usually just either resting because I get in trouble a lot because I don't rest enough. Apparently recovery and that I don't do enough. But usually throughout the week, if I'm not doing anything, I'm usually focusing more on what I need to work on. So I have if I've just played from that weekend, I would go through clips and stuff just to run down what I need to work on so that in the next game that I'll be all sweet for that week. But I just usually just chill. I don't really do much. Just try to stay off the feet. So yeah.
Nice. And what's your your training schedule like? Is it?
Oh, training pretty much every day.
Yeah.
Like club and then Bronx.
Yeah. Because that's the thing I wanted to touch on is because you're signed with Broncos and the Reds. Yeah. And you just finished school last year and you just straight in. But there was one time you were did you debut with the Reds? You were still in school?
Yeah. I debuted when I was 16. Yeah. Yeah.
Take us through that. What was that like? The experience with that,
Man, that was an unreal experience, eh? I enjoyed it. First year, I was actually injured that game. So I was injured. I had a torn quad, and yeah, that was my first game back. So I playing on the wing, yeah.
That would have been nerve-wracking then.
Yeah, it was. I played with them for the trial match and that. It felt normal. But then when I heard debut, I was like, oh, I was panicking. I was sweating. I was pacing around in the changing rooms, warm up. I didn't even talk to anybody. I was just doing my
Especially because you're still in school.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And you're debuting, what, the girls you'll be playing with, they're like
Yeah.
way older too.
Oh
eh?
man, those Fijians, they were scary, man. They were scary.
Did you start off the bench or?
Yeah, I came off the bench. Yeah, so I was filling in for wing. But I usually play center. Because of the injury I had to.
Oh, how did that start though? Like just for them to call you up? Were you just playing normal school footy and?
Well, I got offered from a team in Perth.
Yeah,
Is it Perth?
the
Force?
Western
The
Force.
Western Force.
Yeah.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, so I got offered by them, and I was about to, but then Reds opened up that the opportunity for me. So then I ended up there. So yeah, it's closer to home.
Nice. I got a question for Mum. We'll wind it back, to Shalom's childhood. Like, what was it like growing up in the family? What was she like? Was she the prince or was she the rat bag?
Nah, I was a good child.
Yeah. How old was Shalom when she first?
She was a naughty girl, like a naughty kid.
What?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
And I guess it reflects now of how she is when she plays because she gets in trouble all the time. So she gets the most hidings and it's making her tough now.
Yeah.
So give me a bit of hidings. No. Lomi had she had this. We found out at 3 years old that she's got an absence. If you don't know what that is, it's a family of epilepsy. So it's like you lose awareness for, I don't know, max 20 seconds. And growing up, I think we dealt with a lot of bullying. Where she's like, oh, they don't want to play with me. But it's because during the time of play, she'll lose awareness of what she's doing, and then kids will be like, what's wrong with her? We don't want to play, being a kid. So we dealt with a lot of that, and then to find out that she's got absence. So 3 years old, and then throughout her whole primary school, she was that annoying kid that everyone don't like because she'll be like coming back from her episode and then she'll be like, oh, what just happened? And all the kids are like, oh my gosh, like.
Yeah.
And then we got told that she's got to take medications and I don't know, my husband being a typical Samoan just said, no, we're not taking any of that BS, so right up until she was 12, 13, she would still have episode. And we noticed that the more we take her to like being active, the less episodes she has a day because she would have like 5, 6 a day. Yeah.
So it was more to burn the energy so it doesn't consume it.
Yeah.
And how long did you say it would last when she have an episode? Like how long would it last?
20
for?
seconds maxi.
Yeah, 20
It
seconds.
was like, even I'd be talking. Like, my brother would just be laughing at me, and I'll be gone. And then, I come back, and I'm like, and my brother's just staring at me, laughing. I'm like, why are you laughing?
No one really knew. It was just us. So the boys, so every time she has it, the boys would laugh. And then, we can't tell anyone. So, yeah.
True. So you remember, Shalom, a lot of this happening, and you'll know when it comes on, comes off.
Yeah, I know, when it happens. I could still hear, I can't really, I'll still be there, but, I just zone out.
Zone out, yeah. It's like daydreamy sort of thing.
Yeah, I just, zone out. Everything just switches off.
We were told that she can't be swimming, she can't be playing sports, she can't be on any sort of, park. Because she could be on the monkey, and then that's it. Yeah, she could actually break her neck. That's what we were told. And so we started taking her to singing classes. We thought, oh man, we can't But then it got really expensive. It was like $1,100 a year for her as well as driving her. So we just said one day, just go play with your brother. Just footy.
And how old was that?
I started when I was 9, 8.
Yeah. So that's when you first touched the footy.
Yeah. The first game, she said, too much running.
No, that was the training session. That was the training session. Yeah.
What club was that? Red
Oh
Bay?
no, West End.
West End. Oh,
Yeah, so I played up there until I was under 11s, and then I moved to Springfield Panthers for under 12s.
Took a lot for
under
her to
11s
play
anyway.
footy.
Yeah.
She just
It's
she
all
was-
worked out now, I'm sure.
hates running, hates doing any exercises, and she's like, too much. There's too much.
But now she's
And
training every
yeah.
day.
Nobody can't stop you.
Now we have to tell her to rest.
Yeah.
Like we literally have to sometimes give her a slap because we'll be thinking that she's sleeping and she's running heels in front of the house.
Just taking it back a little bit, like now that you see her, like, you know, she, like, you can see everything's paying off, where her journey's going towards being with the Broncos and the Reds. When you think of her upbringing, like, you know, all the stuff that, you know, you guys had to sacrifice, you know, just with training and work and everything, like, can you take us through that? Like, what was that like?
It's so tough, especially being an islander. Like you've got church, you've got family, and as well as trying to raise your kids to be, you know, be better at something. And, you know, over here it's money is everything. And if I can think back of how much money I've spent on this girl and her referees.
She's giving a tab. She's giving a tab.
That big contract comes in there, and the deposit's waiting.
Make sure mom's part of that percentage.
Oh, she's already got her shit. Don't worry. She already told me.
Petrol.
Yeah. As well as our fare, our accommodation, because it's not just her. It's like the whole family. When your kid make it somewhere, it's not just their levy and it's not their fee. It's the whole family too, because they're going, you know, you want to be there to support your kid. So it's so tough. Like we don't have fancy jobs. We're just a normal worker at the factory. That's what we don't have flash careers and that. So money is pretty tight. So when it comes to, but it's looking back now, it's like the sacrifice that you do for your kid. It's like it pays off when you really when you have your why. Like, you know, like, yeah, we've put everything into the kids. We make sure that I will always be grateful for my upbringing because it made me who I am today as a parent. You know, we never went to school camps, or we're not allowed to play sports because I would hear my dad saying, which means, do we eat that?
Yeah.
Like, you know, if you say that you're going to your training, they'll be like, you know, like, do you eat that? Come home and do something. Yeah, so it's like we have to make sure that our kids don't go through that.
And that's so true. Like, obviously, you know, me and Hux, we're Pacific Islanders as well. And, you know, I can totally understand your feeling is, you know, when I first came to Australia, I actually came by myself. And my parents used to actually, back in New Zealand, they used to sell like hangis and that to help me here. And, you know, at the time, I didn't really think of much. But as you get older and you start to mature, you start to realize all our parents wanted was for us to break a cycle, you know. And sometimes, you know, us as islanders, we get to a stage in our life, it's like, okay, our kids there, send all the money back. Where it's like, okay, if our kids there, let's help them set everything up, make sure their career is good, because then in the long term, they'll pay you back forever. you know. And I think for me and my dad, I had a good conversation with him. We broke that cycle. It was like, if I keep making money here, but yeah, I got to send it all back there and get wasted, it's sort of like, you know, we're just stuck in the same cycle that we all go through. And it's good for us, the parents and kids, to understand that sort of stuff, because like Mum said, money was always tight. You know, you had parents working 3 jobs, you know, just to get us to football, pay for your clothing, you know, your boots, your mouth guards and whatsoever. And I think, you know, you guys, by the sound of you guys, got a good balance, and, you know, you understand each other. It seems like you guys got a good relationship. You know, you guys talk a lot and
Just making everything work.
make it work. You know, like obviously everyone, you know, everyone does it tight, but when, you know, when Mum understands you, and then, you know, you understand Mum, it's healthy, and it helps you play the game for longer. You know, because you last longer. You know, it's sort of one thing that you don't have to think about when you're playing. You know, when sometimes I've seen a lot of young talent come through, and the pressures from their family get put on the young kid, and they can't cope with it, because it's like, okay, if I don't make it, my family's going to suffer. You know, where it should be the other way around. It's like, okay, son, let's give you the best option to succeed, or, okay, you know, or if it's your daughter, you know, like, let's give her the best option. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's not meant to be, you know. So it seems like you guys got it really down pat, and, you know, congrats to you guys and Mum, you know, for the good upbringing that you guys have come up with. So hats off to you guys.
Good work. And with you playing footy, Shalom, like, you know, when you're doing your juniors and that, you know, what motivates you, like, when you play footy, like, you know what I mean? Was this a dream, like, you know, with you being with the Broncos and the Reds, was this a dream at a young age, or you just playing footy and then wherever it takes you?
It started off like that. Like, I was just playing, just fun. As soon as I got the hang of it, I was kind of like, oh, I like this sport. Like, it's fun. Like, I usually, oh man, whenever me and my brother would fight, that's the only way I'd take my anger out. I would tell him to pair up with me.
Yeah.
we just tackle each other.
Is this your younger brother? Or
Yeah, my younger one.
Oh, poor
Yeah.
thing.
Just
Yeah.
running straight in.
No, literally, that's how it was, because we always did like contact drills. Whenever we'd have like a little fight before training. You're my partner, come. No, just like that. But nah, yeah, I think what motivated me a lot and what's got into me where I am today, is I never had a phone. Like, growing up, I literally just, like, I've owned a phone just from last year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Senior.
So like my whole junior year, I've never had a phone. If I was bored, I would spend my time outside. I would go. Whenever these guys would leave me at home by myself, no phone, nothing, and at home too, because we have no Wi-Fi. They
To
would
this
catch.
day, we don't have a Wi-Fi.
That's crazy to think, man. Honestly, I couldn't see my kids without screens. Like, and it's like, obviously, like, you know, back in when I was younger, we never had screens. We had those little MP3 players and those little, you know, iPod Nanos.
See,
and
parents,
stuff
this
like
is
that.
why we need to go back to old school.
But yeah, wow. Like, honestly, like, you know, how old are you? 17, 18?
17, 19,
And then you just got
yeah.
your first phone. Like,
Yeah.
Wow. So you saying, so without having a phone, that made you focus, hey?
Yeah,
So,
that made me focus a lot. Just because while everyone else was on TikTok and that, like, I was always outside, just because I had no screen to just like chill on.
yeah, no.
because that was like
She
the
gets
back in the
her
days, hey?
share with, so she'll download TikTok on my phone. It's more of because we don't have money.
Yeah.
That's why the kids never had phones. But seeing how like they're all great at football, and we saw that, oh yeah, all the kids they do like on their phones Instagram, you know, because I'm on Instagram too. I see everything, and it was like, actually, this is actually pretty good that they don't have phones. So, she would have a turn on my phone. So I have TikTok, and the dad has TikTok as well on. So she'll have her 2 hours on my phone when she finished school. and then she'll manipulate her way through dad's
Dad's
phone. She still gets her fix, but she doesn't have a phone. And when she doesn't have anything to do, you'll see her outside just constantly playing with the ball, or she'll be passing, or like everything she does. And so is the younger brother. And it worked. Like we found out. So when she signed with the Reds, we got a little bit of money. And then we said, okay, I think you earned your phone. Like this is how I did it. I had to find my own job to buy my phone. And you know what? You've earned your phone. It wasn't a new phone. It was our old phone that's sitting
So you paid Mama.
She set me up for real. For real. Bro. She actually got me there.
She's making a down payment already.
Yeah, it was our old phone that's been sitting in the drawers for years. So it was just like, here you go. This is yours. But we had rules. 8 o'clock, 8:30 on my bed, whether we're home or not. So, and that's how it was the whole last year. So she can have her phone, go to school with her phone, but 8:30, it's got to be on our bed in our room where we can, so she doesn't.
Oh, don't worry, guys. I got a new phone. I got a new phone, guys.
No, that's actually cool because, like, you know, I'm just thinking about, like, I didn't play like footy in that, but like just growing up, there was no such thing as iPads. Like back in my upbringing, you know, we never got phones. Like my first phone was a Nokia 3310. Like the only thing that was popular. Mate, you play Snake on there. No, but like, you know, and it just shows how much everything's changed now with the generation. And that's, I find that really cool because now that you're saying that if you have no phone, you got to focus on what you know, and it just shows now, like, you know, where you are now. And so with that, like when you're coming up, when did you realize that you really wanted to take footy serious?
When I made my first Queensland team, that's when I was like, when was that? 13? Like I made a merit team, and that's when I was like, oh wow, like, and I seen like all the older girls. It's like Australia. There's like the next level, and I kind of just looked at it like I kind of want to get there, like. But the thing is with me, I never liked watching sport. I hated it. Like like even State of Origin, the most I would watch is like 30 minutes max. And then I would leave to go sleep or something. But my dad kind of always just made me sat there and like watched. But I was never that type to watch. But I kind of started taking it seriously when I was like, I want to get to that level. I want to make sure that and I think that's when the phone came in. Like each day I was just doing something different, whether it was ball skills, whether it was me and my little brother doing like little contact drills so that we can just both focus on like our little techniques and that. It was
That's
like
cool.
that,
So like you're just pretty much when you're doing nothing, you just go to the footy field and just
We have this tree in front of our house in Red Bank, and there's this one certain spot where they'll have the ball, and then they'll have to pass it to that same spot. Like you have to get it 20 times, and they have this game. And when we moved out, it was like scarred, like the trees actually scarred.
Because we labeled the tree, like we put I think it was like a little tape thingy there.
So who come up with all these drills that you were doing in these times? Like, where does Dad play the part in this? Was he the one that pushed you to train, or was it self-driven?
Yeah. Oh wow, there was a lot of tears that came with that one. But Dad was the one that was always training us. So Mom's like, she does all the phone calls, she does all the harder stuff.
Admin.
Yeah, she's the admin. She's the admin. Yeah. And then Dad's kind of like the trainer. Because he used to play footy too when he played back in New Zealand too. He was a little hooker, eh? Was he? Did he play
I
hooker?
think so, yeah.
Yeah, he was a little
Union
hooker.
hooker?
No,
League.
League hooker. It
Oh,
was league.
nice.
Yeah. So he kind of just shared his experiences and that with us growing up, and then we kind of just, as we got into like bigger things, like bigger teams, and that we kind of did it ourselves, like as techniques and that.
So Dad obviously would have had a really soft spot for you.
Being his only girl too.
Yeah, being the only girl.
Yeah. Oh,
But
well,
come
not in
training
training.
time, eh?
Not
Yeah.
training. Not
There's no
training.
easy option in
There's no
training.
easy.
For years, the kids, he would go to work and the kids would get hidings if they don't get up in the morning to run.
Oh,
So he'd always like, if I come home and you didn't get up to run before school, you're all going to get it. Yeah, so.
And like his favorite line he used all the time was like when he was pissed off, because he stopped giving us hidings like as we grew up. So his favorite line, like whenever he was like pissed, he would be like, "Run." That was his favorite line. Get on the line, run.
Run.
And make us just consistently running back and forth 100 meters until like we did it properly, the drill that he wanted us to do.
I think if my husband wasn't being that typical Samoan dad, I don't think the kids would be like this.
who they are.
Yeah.
And that's right. It always comes from something, deeper. Like, like for myself, my dad was the same. He used to play sport. He used to get me up in the morning, take me to the gym. And at the time, you're just like, oh, it's just normal. You got to do it, But then as you get older, you start to realize like this is like good habits that you're getting into, like it helped with your episodes, like you're going and training, it's consuming energy. And then, as like you said, as you get older, it just becomes self-driven then, and that's where I can see like a lot of these days now, when the ones where the kids are self-driven, when the mum and dad don't have to like get them up to go and run, that's when they part from the ones that are like, they won't make those rep teams, because it's like all those little 1% that you do away from the footy field, even the training. Okay, if you go to training, all your friends are doing the same thing. But what you're doing away from that training field, which gives you that extra 1% that they're not doing. So, and like Mum said, those morning runs, like that, it all adds up, as the time goes on. And like, like your mum said, like it's working now, all the hard work is starting to pay off. And like,
you can see it, eh? Like
yeah.
you can see
If
it.
it wasn't like me, I wouldn't even be that tough on the kids. I'd be like, because right now I balance my husband out. He's so mean. Nothing is good when the kids play. So I kind of like balance him out with the good stuff that the kids were doing.
Yeah.
And I said, man, like, but it's good now. Like, I see it now why he was so driven like that. And I'm glad that he is who he is.
And it's crazy that you say that because, when I came in, when I was shooting Shalom's formal, man, I could tell, like, I was surprised, like, how much of a soft spot he has for Shalom. Like, I could see it. Like, the moment when he saw you in your formal dress, he just, he cried. And I was just like, man, that shocked me, you know what I mean? And
I've never seen him cry. Even our wedding didn't even cry. And then I'm like,
see, and look. But see that it's cool, like, as when he took you to do your extras and that, that just shows that's tough love, you know what I mean? And I feel like with the generation now, that's faded. Like, you know what I mean? Tough love is not a thing anymore, where it's raw, like where you see parents do that, you know what I mean? But it's cool because like when I see your dad, I'd never ever thought, like you telling me that about your dad, when I saw him on that day, he was, oh, that's daddy's girl, man. You know what I mean? Like,
and it's good to have a good balance of it. It's good to have balance where like dad could be like, nah, that was not good enough. But then there's times where like they need to give you confidence, because as you get older, if you still doubt yourself and you always like, say if you've done something good, but the first thing you think of is the negative thing, then, as the time goes on, you'd start to like second guess yourself when you're making decisions or making plays, So there's always a good balance to have where like you're confident in, what you've done. Like by the sounds of it, all the training you've done, man, you should back yourself every day of the week, when you, go onto that field. And like that's probably leading to my next question is, what was it like now that you're in it? Like, how's it been? Like, is it what you expected it to be, or is it a bit less?
Oh man, it's hard, eh? Like thinking I feel like a lot of a lot of people my age, they think once they make it, it gets easy. But it's kind of like once you're in there, you have to work to make sure you stay in there, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. Like I'm trying to like fight to make sure I'm like there still.
And that's like you said, a lot of people, when they get there, like say for instance, when you're 18 and you get a first grade contract, you get your NRLW, they don't realize that's literally the start of it. You know what I mean? Like this is when the hard work starts. Obviously all that stuff you've done before that, that's the base. That's your base that's built you to there. But then now it's like there's a lot of things that come into play when you're at that level. It's like dealing with coaches, managers, recovery, what you eat, all like, your training load. Like there's a lot that you got to, balance to stay at an elite level for so long. And you look at the players that have played there, like, they're just, and then you see their daily routines and what their habits are like, and you can tell why, they're at that level for so long.
There's so much more to learn. Like even for us, we've always teach the kids to be grateful. Like whatever gets put in front of you, just eat it. We don't have a diet. We don't have a plan. We don't. So whether it's gobi masima or it's rice and tuna, you just
That's the real protein.
throw it in there. Don't even complain. But now she's at that stage where we really have to be careful now we have to support her. Yes, still got to be grateful, but we have to be mindful that she'll be playing against like athletes that are, from their sleep to their eat to their routine, it's like always on top. So we make sure that she's upper level and we have to be.
Well, it's good that like at an early stage, you guys sort of already caught on to that, and understood that, trying to give her best forward to stay at that level for, as long as possible, like the career can go 10 years or will go 1 year, depending on how you look after yourself. So, it's good that
The
you got
injuries
all,
now,
yeah,
it's just coming left, right, center. No?
it's good you got the good support network around you because, that's what's going to hold you there for a long time.
Just a quick question, Shalom. Was there any athlete that you actually idolized?
No, I
no?
didn't think I.
You don't?
Nah, I didn't.
Or what
I-
about like as a family member or
Family
anyone that
member?
you've like someone you grew up looking up?
Well, I've always looked up to my dad and how he's like talking about it now. Mom actually used to be a police. Like she was in the police.
No, I was
She
in
was
the
in the
academy.
yeah, it's the same thing. But
Yeah.
her and dad, they've like I kind of idolized them a lot, just because where we are now, they had to drop their dreams to push for our dreams. So it's kind of like that's kind of what I am so grateful for. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Can you take us this is another question. Can you take us through what's probably the biggest highlight like in your journey? Because honestly I've seen you watching your footy through your school and all that, your rep teams. What's probably the biggest moment you've had so far in your juniors school? Because
My
I know
high
you
school
have
years?
just in your high school years.
That Titans Cup, that was probably the highlight of my year. Looking back at 2023, we got a hiding from Mabel, man. Like they had a massive. Wait, do you know about that game?
No, I didn't. I only watched the finals when you beat Marsden.
Oh no! So 2023, we were leading
26-0.
26-0 halftime. Halftime came and then it was 28-26 at the end. Mabel completely coming back and like those girls worked hard for it though. But I'll give them that. They had a really good game. And then just coming to 2024, it was kind of like I wanted to make sure that the girls were like fully prepared, like making sure they had training all the time and make it like because we did a lot of extras outside of school without the coaches. So I would take them to like Project 180 to have like little mindset sessions and just things like that. I think that was probably my highlight, just the bond that we had on and off the field. It was just
That's crazy you say that because I've seen your other highlights, like, with the Reds, and even because one of the games I actually watched you play was against the New South Wales team. Was the best team from, was that Sydney?
And
The
yeah.
of course, yeah,
Yeah.
like that game because
That's
that's the best
nationals.
from Queensland and the best
Yeah.
team from New South Wales.
Yeah.
Like, man, from your kick, from the beginning of the kick to that game, that was a massive game as well. That
Yeah.
used to. That's crazy. Did you say that with Mayboy?
Were you a captain at your school team?
Yeah, the year that just finished.
Yeah,
My last year.
the last year.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
You were a leader at a young age, eh?
How did you get those sort of like, like aspirations to be like? Who taught you to be like, oh, I want to take these girls?
Well, it's kind of just learning from the previous years, like looking back at last year, how we made it to finals. We didn't do all those little things that we should have been doing. There was a lot of pick and choose when I come to training. So like I had to make sure that this year, our last year, because majority of us were year 12. That was our last year.
Oh, okay.
And
So it was the pain that you got from losing, was the drive for the next year.
Yeah. And I told those girls because that was a horrible feeling. Like I couldn't even tell you how I felt after that game.
Yeah.
But it was just coming back from learning from that game, and just making. I even had to talk with the girls like, you don't want to feel like that again.
Yeah.
Like you just want to make sure like if you want to win, you can't just like not come because you're not gonna get anything out of it.
That's right. That's pretty powerful, to be able to witness that stuff at a young age. Like I was a captain for a lot of my younger teams. And like stuff like that, we used to do the same things, And back in Sydney, our was called GIO Cup, and we made 3 years. We made it in a row, like GIO Cup final. And we only won one of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And so my last year I lost, but the first 2 years one of them we won. So like just like little things, for like say for you, like just being able to use like your past experiences and the pain that you got to be able to drive, like that's gonna help you like when you get to NRLW, like I said, the stuff that you're doing away from trainings and stuff like that, it all like like you just seen, it all adds up, and then and it doesn't have to be your physical training, like it could be mental training, it could be recovery, like, and once you start to play the NRLW, there's like video, like analyzing, your oppositions, like that's all part of, your 1%, because then now you're starting to look at like, say if you're playing in the centers and you're looking at, oh, okay, she likes to step off her right foot, so you'll be like, oh, I'll track her inside. So when she steps off her right foot, she steps back into me. Just little things like that. When you start to get there, you'll start to realize, oh yeah, this is what he was talking about.
Might have to get you a coaching role. Sign you up, eh? Now, Shalom, just another question. Like, I know you've played a lot of footy and a lot of sports and everything. Has there actually, like, even where, like, just going through even tough trainings and that, has there ever been a time where you ever felt this was too much for you? Like,
yeah, plenty of.
And you just wanted to give up?
Yeah,
can you give us like what that day looked like?
I probably wasn't even training like beforehand. So you're coming to training, I've got all this head noise. You just get smashed at training. That feeling when you just get smashed at training, you're kind of just like, oh my God, like why am I here? Yeah, you kind of like question your worth and that sometimes. Like I've had plenty of those days, but it just, I think to me, like without those days, you won't get as far, because if you like go into every training session, oh, like I'm hurt, I can get through this training. It's kind of like you're probably not even gonna make it that far if you have that head space, But yeah,
That's cool. What about you, Mum? Like with all the sacrifices that you've done just to get Shalom to where she is now. Was there a time like you and your husband like felt like this is too much money, or this training is like too much? Because I know as an Islander family, to cater to one kid, it's a lot. And you had another two, so you got three all up. Like, was there a time, can you take us through a time where you felt like you just wanted to pull her out of footy or something like that?
Let's just start with saying that we have a great village. I have a great support system. Like, not for she's got hers, but I've got mine too. Like, I've got parents and my family too that would drop anything for me and the kids. And even my parents, like my parents are in Samoa now, but I've literally sat them down and said, I can't help you. I'm the oldest of 7, which my job is to lead the rest of my siblings. But when Lomi got where she was start traveling, she started making rep teams when she was 9, 10. We started traveling. So when 2 years into that, I sat my parents down and I just said, I can't help you. I have to help mine first before I help you. So, and they're very supportive. Like, yeah, the mean dad that I had, my dad was like, yeah, that's fine. Go, do you support your own family before you support us, because that family matters the most. So yeah, and then the people that we started crossing paths as the kids got older and got better in footy, they were all supportive of when I put a fundraiser out there. So every time the kids make it, I'd be on my Facebook going, okay, fundraiser.
No, that's cool. No.
And I had, good people that would support me. I think it was last year when I started doubting it. She was with the Reds and she signed with Broncos last year. And then I started thinking, like, if I put out a fundraiser, will they say, okay, your daughter signed a contract, why are you still asking for money from us? But when she made the Australia Schoolgirl Sevens, we had to come up with $3K. She hasn't got paid for a contract. So this 2025 is when she's top 24. That's when, but it was already out on social media last year that she's top 24. So I started doubting myself last year whether I should ask or for help to get this $3,000, not only for her, but I want to go too. It's her last year. Accommodation, all the costs that come with I still did. I spoke to Glenn. Glenn is Shalom's mentor that's been there since she was 13. And this is where all the mindset stuff is coming from. This is where Shalom's positive attitude is from. Because if it was just us, I don't think we go through a lot of stuff where I reach out to him, because if I was to do it the way I know, her hair will be short. She wouldn't even be going to Ipswich High. She wouldn't even go to any team because all you know is that you get a hiding if you do something wrong, right? There's no sitting down and talk. So Glenn was her mentor that was constantly talking to her. And then when I'm struggling as a parent, I reach out to him. So when I reach out to him about this, and he's like, just put it out there. You don't know who is rooting for you. You need to just put it out there. So we did. And you know what? 5 donations made up the $3,000. Only 5. I had a 1,000. I had a 1,000, 2 1,000, a 500, 1,500. It was just, actually we got more than what we were asking.
And good on you for actually reaching out to your mentor. Like sometimes people don't even think that, because especially you're growing up, like there's no such thing as go and get help or mentor, you know.
Yeah, so we have that. To answer that question, I have a great support system, and I'm very, very grateful for those people
Honestly,
around us.
that's very brave for you to open up to talk about this stuff, because a lot of our people that are watching this is going to be Pacific Island, of descent, and a lot of this stuff we call it taboo. Like it's like we're, like you said, they think that we're greedy, or they think, but it's part of the struggles that you go through, to get your kids to the next level. And like I said, like when, like you said, like you're trying to get to your kids' games, and and it's sad to say, but a lot of the people that are our own descent are the ones that are always trying to bring us down. And like, so like having your mentor there, which was of a different, different person, different upbringing, he would have said, no, just put it, like, and it probably wasn't any of your family or that did it, and it's nothing against them, they don't, they were going through their own things as well. But there's a lot of people out there that are willing to help, and like, honestly, hats off to you guys, and, especially to you, Mum, to speak about this, because like I said, a lot of people out there, they'll be in the same position for sure. They've got young kids, maybe 2 kids growing up, and they'll get to a stage in their life where they're like, sorry, son, this is too hard. We can't keep paying for this, That's right. Like, honestly, my family's the same. If they come to me, like, I've got businesses of my own, but I'm not afraid to tell them I don't have money. I'm poor, and then they look at me like, what? Or even they think you signed the NRL. Oh, all of a sudden you got all this money. Hey, you got family, you got your own family, and like you said about your mum and dad, honestly, that is probably the best thing you could ever done, is said to mum and dad, look, I can't keep sending money back home. I've got to protect my family first. And then when this is all done, I can, and like for them to be like, yeah, like we trust that, and we want to follow you in that. That's very good, because there's times where like family be like, nah, they don't want to talk to you ever again. Then all of a sudden you start making it, then like, oh, can we get tickets to go to the game? Can we get this and this?
I'm your uncle.
Oh, I've got plenty of all. We're cousins.
And like, honestly, like I've been through it, so I know how it is for our Pacific Islanders, and like for us to talk about it now, they're all gonna see this and they're gonna be like, 100%. I'm not the only one going through this.
I'm grateful you bring that up, Terry, because that is the islander. It's like, even though you use someone like we're Tongans, but it's the same thing, like, and it's good because you just break that cycle, you know what I mean? And that would have been brave, because, man, like I still remember, like, I'm grateful that my parents, that they tell me to focus on my wife and kids, you know what I mean? But I've actually seen like some of my, family tell their parents when they're going to focus on their kids, man, they get a whole earful, like, we did this for you, But that's really cool that you did that. But go back just to that village you're talking about before we wrap things up. Is there anything, Shalom, that you guys want to, say to, your village, that everyone behind? Because when I watch from the side, yeah, I can see a successful player, but I know behind every good player, there would have been a lot of people behind you. Is there like a shout out you want to say to your village? Or
I just want to say thank you to you guys. Yeah, my parents have been there the whole way, but you are also part of the reason why I am where I am today. So yeah, super grateful for you all, and thank you.
Terry, is there anything you want to say before we wrap things up?
I think I've said everything, that the struggle, the ups, the downs. But I just wanted to thank you guys for giving us this opportunity to be here to share our story. It's nerve-wracking. Coming here, it was so scary, but you guys made it comfortable, and I hope that our story inspire someone, another parent, another kid. But yeah, and to all our families and friends that had help along the way with Shalom's fundraisers, and so grateful. so grateful. And yeah.
And Matoko,
Nah, thanks again for that, guys. I'm sure this, podcast is going to help a lot of families out there, whether it's a girl or, a young male that's going through stuff in their life. But, for sure, man, I can definitely see this one hitting a lot of people's hearts.
if there's a advice you could give to Shalom or even anyone that's listening, I know you've been there, Docs, and I know you try to play that humble card all the time with me, but if there's one thing that you could actually, especially for the kids that even want to be up there, what would it be?
Oh, man, it's a hard one, to be honest. But, I think surrounding yourself with good people as, growing up, that will go a long way to, how you're going to be as a child, how you're going to be as an adult. So I reckon, when you put yourself around with good people, now that you've made your first game at the Reds, now you're going into the NRLW, surround yourself with the girls that are killing it. Learn off them, learn what they're doing, ask questions. Okay, us as Islanders, we always get afraid to ask people questions, man. Don't be afraid. There's no dumb question, they might mock you, but it's just mucking around, Like Islanders do, we just mock each other, But honestly, man, ask questions because, for you to stay at that level and keep leveling up, that's the way you're going to do it. But by you going and sitting in a different room and, just eating your food by yourself, it gets very hard, So, yeah, surrounding yourself with good people, I reckon.
Thanks, Dogo.
You got any questions?
No, what was it like for you growing up? Like with training wise. Yeah, what did training look like for you around my age?
Training was pretty same as you. We always trained hard. We're doing the early morning trainings. Dad would take me to Dad would actually introduce me to the gym. So we're getting into that stuff. And then but yeah, when I got to the stage where I was sort of where you are now, when I just started, I learned quickly that so I'll give you a story. So I debuted 2015 and then I got injured at the end of the year. 2016, I came back, I started my first grade preseason. And when I came back that year, I came back overweight. I thought off season, oh yeah, just kick back, do my thing, eat. I went back to New Zealand, I was drinking and doing your thing. And then I came back, I was 10 kilos overweight from where I was meant to start. And, once you get older, you start to realize what off season is. It's off season is off season away from your normal training regime. So when you go away, you still got to train, you still got to stay on top of things, but it's not every day. It's not 5 days a week, but I quickly learned that year that when it's my off season, it's enjoy your time with your family. Honestly, man.
Don't abuse it.
I was in Fat Club,
Oh wait, they did the Fat Boy Club too?
Yeah.
Oh.
So every preseason they got Fat Clubs because it's, but from learning from that is go away and have your break and that, you can still go out and go do your things. But for me, one thing I actually did was if I knew I was going to have a drink, I'll train that morning and I'll double up. So I'll do a gym and a field. So then I know, okay, I've earned it. Or even Christmas, I used to always train Christmas morning. So I'd always go for a run. Feed. Yeah, because you're going to go have a mad feed, and it's good. You got to have a good balance. You can't just say, no, I don't want to eat that. Man, I love my island food. So, if I know I'm going to eat my island food, I've got to make sure I work for it, And that's probably, one thing that sort of, I learned quickly.
Mm. Cool. Thanks. You guys got any more questions?
I think the last one is that how did you deal with the negative stuff on social media?
Oh, that's a big one. That's a very big one. Honestly, for me, I deleted. So I'd never had Facebook when I was playing. I had Instagram, but at the time, Instagram wasn't as big. But now, so I know a lot of the boys now that what they do, they turn off all their comments So you can actually, there's like a thing on the comment where you can turn it off and you can't see anyone that comments on your thing that are not friends with you. And I think for like, you know, like Mum said, the negative stuff, okay, you got to understand these people that are sitting behind these keyboards or their phone have never, you know, probably stood foot on the field, never been through that grind. And, you know, if you know that you've done the hard work behind, you know, like they talk about like don't leave no stone unturned, you know, at training. Once you get into the games, everything should be a breeze. Training should be harder than what the game is, you know? So if you know you've done that and you've backed yourself, like doesn't matter what someone said, you know? And that's where like you sort of build your courage from, is from the work that you've put in, then to know that like, okay, I've done that, like I should never ever, you know, doubt myself. And you're always going to get people out there like that are always negative, like, but you sort of can't like not go away from it, you know what I mean? Like, so you got to learn to deal with it within yourself and mentally, you know, like I said, training, you know, like sometimes it could be your family, you know what I mean? But like,
The scariest part of
that's it
being
is.
as a parent, just
Yeah.
watching it unfold, it's like how do you not get affected? Like regardless of how strong you are, and
Yeah.
then seeing that someone saying a bad thing to your child, it's
Yeah.
like
I think it's harder for the parents, to be honest, because as a player, we just so focus on this week's game, you know. But like it does, honestly, like for me, like I had times where like it affected me, so I deleted Facebook, you know, because I used to go on there, and then people are talking bad about me. I had a bad game, and then you had my dad, my cousins, they're all on there, you know, going back at the person, whoever the person was, you know. And I just said to him, mate, you're feeling their bad energy. You know, so you're taking your good energy and now you're becoming evil as well. You know, whereas if you just leave it and just move on, you know, trust your process.
And it's usually always the village. They just say behind Shalom, like just say, like growing up, it's like all these bad comments, and then you got all these people that love you and Shalom, and that they're gonna be fighting it for you. You know what I mean?
I've had that recently.
Yeah.
So like I see it all the time, man.
Recently,
Like,
yeah, and then I shared it on my Facebook. It's like, what do? You know, you can only protect your child for so long, and you know, at certain places. And when it comes to internet, they can build you up, and then they'll tear you right down. And I had my village just at him, and then he got bullied. Like, but you know, I know this is only year one for her, and it's as a mom, like you're sitting there like having anxiety.
Yeah. It is very daunting.
that's a really good question, Terry.
And I feel like, you know, for Shalom, I can see she's a strong girl, you know, but like going through that, it's sort of like teaching your people not to believe what's all on the media, because what they put on the media is what they perceive it to be, you know, and it's hard. It's hard. Honestly, it's very hard.
But I like what you said. It's like the people that has never. You got to think of it like that,
Like
and
that,
then
you have
you'll
to.
just like laugh.
Yeah. And literally it is. Most of the time it's always, you know, people that have never played the game. Yeah, that's right.
As you're saying, like, it's sad because like I've seen, you know, NRL players and that gets to them right through comments, and then as soon as they retaliate, nothing happens to those, but something bad happens to the athlete because they retaliated to that. You know what I mean? So that's
You can't win.
No.
yeah, you can't.
Literally, like this, like you look at Latrell Mitchell right now, he gets roasted on you know, media, you know, because of stuff like that. You know, like I feel like Shalom, if she wanted to get away from it, just delete all those apps. That's the best way. Like you lived without a phone for 17 years. I'm sure you'd be able to live without, you know, TikTok and Instagram, you know. So yeah, like, you know, just little things like that, you know, it can honestly help you. And like I said at the start, surrounding yourself with good people, you know, because these good people, you know, and don't be afraid to talk about it to your friends, because the more you keep it inside, it's like a teapot. It just boils. Then all of a sudden you probably catch yourself like crying somewhere, you know. But the more you can talk about it, be like, oh, someone's talking bad about me. Like, what do I do?
And it's cool that you guys got that Glenn. You know, like that's cool. Like, you know, I never ever thought that there's people.
I even
like that.
shared it to him, and he was saying to me, "Stop reading comments on Facebook." And I was like, "Well, I can't." He goes, "You need to stop." I said, "Should I delete it, like her Facebook?" And he said, "Does she even go on it?" I said, "No, she only goes on TikTok and Instagram." He goes, "Well, just leave it because, you know, to exposure wise, she just started. Facebook is where all the old people are, and that's where sponsorships and, you know, support and, you know." And he goes, "Just leave it as long as she doesn't go on Facebook, because Facebook is where all the old people are, where they talk smack all the time."
That's right.
Yeah, so, but yeah, Glenn has been such a solid support for us. And
Yeah,
we're
that's
so
cool.
grateful for him.
You guys got anything else before we remember? Thank you guys so much. Even Shone, appreciate you jumping on, man. Like, just to hear your experience as well. You know, because I know when my vision behind this is I want these parents and these kids to actually feel if this is for them, kind of thing. You know what I mean? And I know your story, Shalom, will touch a lot of upcoming superstars, especially Pacific Islanders. We wish you all the best. You know, you ever need anything, Future Vision supports you. Thank you, Terry. I know it was hard to just get a hold of you, but to finally have you here, man, I'm grateful. Eh? Like, she's the manager, bro. It's like, you know, she's the, you know, and I know it can be, you know, having a random call from a stranger you've never met. You know, it was just something that I felt because I've been watching Shalom, you know, for her juniors, and it'll be cool just to share her story.
You really have to thank her, because I did not want to do anything like this.
Yeah.
She said,
She
"No,
always
just-"
does that, like meetings, even like family catch-ups. We're not going. Oh my gosh, you have to go.
Just talk to him, because I think he messaged back to her page.
Oh, yeah.
And he goes, "Oh, I can't get a hold of your mum." But I've seen his message where I was like,
Man, she always does that. Oh, yes.
I'm gonna be like your uncles. Can you give me a ticket?
And then she was like, "Oh, he's trying to help everyone. If we can do this and help someone," I'm like, "Oh my God, okay, let's do it." And I went back, accept.
See, freaking no. So any other parents out there, man, that you think I'm calling for this is all it is. Nah, but thank you guys so much. Appreciate it, and all the best, Shalom. Like, honestly, we'll be cheering you on all the way. Yeah. Thanks, guys, and that's it.